Hi everybody. I'm just gonna make a quick video about the test that I took this past week for the nursing school. So, not all nursing schools require that you take an entrance exam. Some do, some don't, and even the ones that do the test, it's different for each school. But for the school that I applied to, the test that I took was called the TCS 2 exam, and it was basically a four-part cognitive exam. It was consisting of, oh my god, I don't remember the set. Oh, okay. Sequences, analogies, memory, and verbal reasoning. So basically, we have an hour. My son. Joshua. So basically, we have an hour to complete the exam. We get in. The lady's really strict about, when we can pick up our pens during the exam and not to flip the page when she says not to flip the page and whatever. So I'm in there. I feel like I'm in high school again, taking the SATs. I'm like nervous. And so whatever, we're doing the exam. And you know how with some standardized tests, like you'll get sample questions to do, practice questions before the actual section begins. So that's what happened. So we had, practice sample questions, I should say, for each section. And memory was the third section on the exam. And for some reason, the sample questions were all the way in the beginning of the test, before the test even started. So the memory section basically went like this. We were given a list of non-words, like words that have been made up, but that mean something. So like, for example, well, I don't know if this is one of the words on the test. I doubt it. I don't even remember the words that were on the test. But for example, let's say glyphon means library, right? So they would give us a list, and it was 20 items. 20 items on this list, okay? And the instructor is reading them out loud. She read them twice, which was helpful. And she read them, and we had to memorize them. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, well, after she read the 20 items, we're just going to have to recall them in the next section. No. I'm assuming since the test was an hour long, that, each section was about 15 minutes. So we go into the first section. I noticed that the memory section isn't until the third section of the test. And I recall the lady saying, after she read through the words, she was like, well, memorize these words. We will be recalling them later. A half an hour later. Really, a half an hour. So we get to the memory section. Oh, before we even get to that, the first section was sequences. I didn't even finish that section. Didn't finish it. There was 20 items per section of the exam. Didn't finish the first one. Didn't finish the second one. Fine. So at this point, I'm like, oh my god, I'm going to fail miserably or not get the score that the school needs. So fine, I accepted. I'm like, you know what? I was glancing around, and other people were looking kind of worried and stuff. Probably they didn't finish as well. So I didn't worry about it. We got to the memory section, and the lady's reading the instructions. It was kind of like the SAT. So basically, before each section, there's like a scripted thing that they have to read. So she reads it, and basically the instructions were for us to recall the 20 words, right? The 20 words that we were told in the beginning of the test. Okay. I don't know, for me, I don't know about the other kids, but for me, other kids, other adults. But for me, it was a complete guessing game. Complete. There were a few that I was able to do, like word associations, whether it was through a letter or because maybe it sounded like it could have been the word. I don't know. I guessed my little tushy off. I really did. I was in shock. And then after that, after going through that complete nightmare of a section, then the last section was verbal reasoning. It wasn't too bad. It kind of reminded me of the SATs all over again, and how you know, you were. Well, I remember one of the sections you were given, you know, 2 to 3 sentences, and you had to, out of the answer choices, you had to pick. Excuse me. Out of the answer choices, you had to pick the best answer. You know, that honestly answers what the above situation could be. So maybe give you an example. I think the example that they gave was like, Dom is sitting in a chair, the chair is in the kitchen, and then the answer choices were, he's eating, he's reading a book in the kitchen, he is sitting in the kitchen, and I think something having to do with his mom, like his mom being in the kitchen. So obviously from the information given, the answer you would choose is he's sitting in the kitchen because the chair that he is sitting in is in the kitchen. Of course, the sample questions are like for like little kids to solve, and it's no problem. And then you get to the exam, and it's like, what? I don't get it. Like, oh, let me give you an example. It's not for the verbal reasoning section, but it's from the analogy section. So, we were given a set of pictures. So, one of the examples was a picture of a silkworm, or what to me looked like a caterpillar, and a kimono. And then above that was a picture of a cow, and then there was a blank box. Okay. So the answer choices, you know, they were giving you obvious answers. So like they would give you milk, they would give you beef. They put a wallet in there. Tricky. They put a wallet in there, and then I think the last item was shoes. So, you know, when you're in the excitement of the exam and you assume, oh, the cow makes beef, whoop, whoop, that's it. No. I'm looking and I'm like, all right, let me not pick the obvious answer because that's never really the answer. Obviously, the answer would be shoes because the silkworm makes this kimono that you wear, and the cow, the hide, makes leather, which makes shoes. But other than that, wasn't too bad. They're gonna mail the scores to me. They said 2 weeks. So hopefully, you know, I get the score that they need, and if that is true, then I have to come in for an interview. And apparently I was told that it's not really like an individual interview, which isn't too bad. It's group interviews. They do it in groups of 6, which is great. That's fine. I don't mind being in a room by myself with a bunch of people belonging to a nursing school. It would freak me out anyway. I wouldn't know what to say. I'd be like, complete, like, I would draw blank. So that's good. And if I don't get the score that they want, or if I don't get in at all, I'm not too sure what I'm gonna do because, you know, I'm really trying to apply and get in soon. I would hate to have to put this off. You know, it's just adding more years to schooling that I already have. So I don't know what I'll do. But whatever I decide to do, I'll definitely keep everybody posted and updated on. And yeah, I'll make a video when I get my scores and I'll let you guys know what happened. Okay, bye.